Hey YouTube, here is the same guitar as yesterday. Yes, all the new stuff. Yeah, so this is the Fender Modern Player 2014 made in China Stratocaster with its cherry mahogany body, and now it's got its original scratch plate back in, so it's now an HSH. Just messing about with it where this is kind of weird. Check this out. Right, so humbucker neck. So good. Position 4, which coil splits this and gives you the middle pickup. All normal, middle position. Position 2. So this and this split. Be your stratty sounds. And then bridge humbucker. So the way this has been wired, when I was talking about this yesterday, I thought it was to do with the fact it's got 2 tone controls and the automatic coil splitting. But in the middle position, it's 2 humbuckers. So instead of having the middle position, which would normally be the single coil on its own, it's actually you get the 2 humbuckers on, which is interesting. You got to turn the volume up though. So 2 humbucker neck pickup, both pickups, bridge. I'm assuming that it's meant to be like that. To be honest, it's like if I had my way, which I may actually be able to do now I think about it, I would rather, in the middle position, you're getting the 2 humbuckers. I'm not a huge both humbuckers on fan as it is, but I do like having the outer coils or the inner coils of the 2 humbuckers split. So I wonder if I can, I might be able to split that in the middle position. So in the middle position, so the 3 middle sounds you get humbucker on either end, and the 3 in the middle are positions 2 and 4 in a Strat and a Telecaster in the middle. That would be nice. I've not looked at it. That might not even be possible, but that's what I would like to do. But it's whether you think 2 humbuckers is more use than the middle pickup on its own. I mean, I don't know. I mean, out of a normal, like a Les Paul or an SG, the least position I use is the middle position with both humbuckers on. I definitely use the neck on its own more and the bridge on its own more. And in a Strat, out of all the positions on the Strat, I use 1, 2, 4 and 5 way more than I use the middle position, which is what the single coil. So it's the 2 choices that appear to be here for this middle pickup are the 2 least used choices I would go for. But I do kind of understand it. I think I'm 90% sure it's intentional. What I'm not so sure about is the tone control. That one does the neck, and that one, the middle one, does the bridge, which is the wrong way around, I think. But if it's meant to be that way, it's meant to be that way. I've just put strings in this so it's not sounding perfectly in tune. Something's out. The G. I had to do a wee bit of cowboying with the nut on this guitar as well. The guy says he's got nuts at the house, Graphtec ones that he's not fitted yet, he just hasn't got round to it. So what I've done is this one was cut too low. So basically what I did was take it out, put a wee bit of cardboard behind it, put it back on again. Cause he's going to change it anyway, just to make it so that the strings aren't fretting out on it. It was just too low, and the strings were basically sitting on the first fret rather than sitting on the nut. But now it's working. It definitely doesn't sound like a Strat anymore. It's definitely got a bit more woomph to it. So we put on a bit of distortion. And then both humbuckers on, because this guitar does that. They do sound good. neck pickup. And obviously you got your position 4, your stratty sound, and 2, the other stratty sound. I've not had a bit of a jam along for a while. I do really need to rearrange everything so that this getting a hell of a lot of noise coming through, but I've not bothered my arse to do anything. Here is some sort of rhythm track. Both pickups, I've got it. That's really annoying, isn't it? I still do it. I've got something wrong with the way the pedals are wired up. Seems to be buzzing. It's not the guitar, it was doing it. I was doing it yesterday because I was using this guitar as well, but with different pickups, so technically a different guitar. Yeah, so now that this is working, it's much nicer. I couldn't tell you if you. I don't know where this sits. Be interesting to do a direct comparison between like this and a Mexican and this and a classic vibe. I think it's better than a classic vibe. Well, it is better than a classic vibe, but I don't know if I would be able to tell you if it wasn't a Mexican or not. If you'd handed it to me, obviously I would look at it. And interestingly, it does actually have the wooden fillet in there like an American Fender does. So if you're going to make a fake American Fender, use this one, because then you can look at it and go, oh, it's got the wooden fillet, it must be an American one, rather than the plastic that you get in the Mexicans. And you just sand off the bit where it says the serial number and you put on American Custom Shop. Don't do that. Don't understand why people do that, unless you're intentionally trying to rip folk off. But 90% of the people who put Fender logos on their guitar and stuff aren't doing it to sell it on as a fake. They're doing it because they wanted a Fender and they like that it says Fender on it, which I don't understand. I mean, obviously, if I'd bought a guitar, a Fender Strat, and it had been sanded off, I would put a Fender logo on it, yes, but if it wasn't a Fender Strat, I wouldn't put a Fender logo on it. People are weird though. Yeah, so this one's had some upgrades. This is, I was talking to the chap last night, this has got an American Pro Series bridge, something like that. So it's got an American bridge on it. This is the original pickups. The wiring may have been done. Sorry. And as I said yesterday, I was talking about the truss rod not working. It does. It's just, I think maybe the guy's Allen key was a bit worn or something. Because I put it in and thought I thought I was having to. I've got this in to replace the neck, but I don't want to kill a good guitar because it's fine. It's like, and the truss rod does totally work. It's just, it seems a bit bizarre that. I think maybe it's a bit chewed up because I think somebody's been in it. Sorry, I'm doing a video. What? I'm in the middle of a video. I'll phone you back, okay? Yeah. Is that the old... Oh, he's hung up. He can't be busy. I'll phone him again. Yeah, and then if I hung up again. So, yes, so it turns out that maybe I think it's one of those things, it's just when you get somebody, like it's like me with my car and stuff like that, if I get somebody else to say it's okay, it makes it better rather than just me going, I think it's okay, whereas if you get some, and it's fine, it's not an issue with it. I wasn't looking forward to putting the other neck on this. Yeah, so apparently these were only made for a couple of years, 2012 to 2014, something like that. There's an HSS one and there's an HSH one. They're normally black though. It's quite rare to get the Gibson Cherry sort of thing. I suppose it's kind of like your, not a Les Paul, would you call it a Les Paulocaster? Because it's mahogany body, right? And it's SG colour. Humbuckers, you can getting towards being, also it does the 3 sounds as well. The more I think about it, the more I actually like. I literally checked the pickups 10 seconds before I hit record, but to work it, I wondered why the middle pickup wasn't working, but it is. It's because you get the extra sound with both humbuckers on. I wondered why it was so much louder than the. It's the guy who's actually phoning me now, who owns the guitar, because I sent him a picture of the nut because it's a bit knackered. That's fine. Now that I see it, it's about perfect. We're going to give it a wee tiny bit. I took the nut of the bolt off the truss rod because I was turning it. Was like, that seems to be working alright. So I did it right away and I tightened it all back up again. But I've just got another wee tiny bit to go. We're at 2 midges bow hairs off the fret. You really want it to be a midgie bow hair. Apparently, and the tuners have been changed as well. These are Wilkinson ones. Apparently, the ones that were on it were pads. These guitars were apparently like 550 quid new, and it's I'm sorry, I'm just old fashioned. I don't want to pay 550 quid for a guitar that's got crap tuners. And it's like, it doesn't. it doesn't seem right. Especially if you're. I mean, I reckon the reason they. Like, I was talking to a chap last night. He's like, yeah, looking up the forums. It's like the forums. I don't go into any forums, but that reckoned it was like because they were too good, they stopped making them, and you know, because they were too close to being an American Fender, and you're like, no. What it probably meant it didn't sell very well. And I think that would be a total prejudice thing against the fact that it says made in China on the back of it. If it comes down to it, would bother me if I was spending 500 quid on a new Strat. I suppose it's 500 quid for a Chinese Fender, it's about 800 for a Mexican one. You play the two of them, it's probably a better guitar than the Mexican one, but how much are you paying to get one that's... Well, it does say Fender on the headstock, it is a Fender. It's also a little bit more interesting being Chinese. Actually, do you know what it reminds me? My pal, in fact, I had a 5-string bass as well. There was a range called Squier Protone in the 90s, which was... This reminds me of, it was like a deluxe... It was like a deluxe Squier sort of thing. This is obviously a Fender because you've already got deluxe Squiers, but these were kind of... And I seem to remember, having a guitar magazine, and in the same advert, and someone, they were selling last year's Japanese Strats for like 300, and then it was like 350 for a new Mexican one, and then it was like 380 for the new Squier Protones. So they had like Squiers, Mexican and Japanese Fenders, Strats, all within like 100 quid of each other. Like, really bad pricing strategy they had in the 90s. You know, I think the cheapest one was maybe like 100 quid or 120 quid for the very basic Squier, but once you got up to sort of between 200 and 300, there was all these guitars that they made, and they were all made by the same, in different factories for different people, but for Fender, you know. It's like, so it was quite confusing of which one it is you buy. Nowadays I would go for the Japanese one, but I mean, back then the difference was that you could get like a sort of basic Japanese one for less than you could get a slightly fancier Mexican one that maybe had, you know, branded pickups or whatever, and then an even fancier with fancy wood Squier was more expensive again. Kind of bizarre. They're much better at it now. All the guitar companies have made that. Have made up. It's not like it used to be. Now all the big folk have whatever their starting one is, 150, 200 quid, bang, and they've got one at 150, 200 quid. They've got a range at 300 to 400, and they've got a range between 5 and 600. You know, it's like, you want a Fender Strat? How much do you have to spend, sir? And it could be any increment of £200, they'll have one in there. And it's the same with Ibanez and Yamaha and all that. They hit every price point. No, I don't think they used to. Yeah, so it's actually turned out to be actually quite nice. I like it. It's too new for me, has to be said. So I'll phone this guy back, chat back, and see what he says about whether he wants me to take it to bits and swap the two tones over. To be honest, it wouldn't really bother me. I would do it next time I was changing, or if I was in doing something else, I would probably swap them over. But I don't really use tone controls very much. I know it's totally stupid, and I totally should. The tone control's there for a reason. I think it makes more of a difference if you're playing unknown places. If you're going into a different room, playing through maybe not your own amp, someone else's amp, you don't want to fuck about with it. Maybe just the tone controls, just what you want to clean it up. Whereas if you're playing through the same amp all the time, I've just got it set so it sounds good with the tone up full. You know, if I wanted it a little bit duller, the EQ would be adjusted. At least that's my theory anyway. Anyway, I'm about to go on guitar safari. Got a couple of guitars to look at. One of them I kind of know what it is. I've got it's a satellite Les Paul, which I've had a couple of. They're all right. I think it'll be a Buckycaster one though. I quite like the idea of I'll tape off the front, paint it green, and stick a Bucky label on it. It'll be a. And the other one's an interesting guitar, which I have no idea what it is. The guy doesn't know what it is. Can't find any online. It's a Tempest. Stratocaster. Anyone ever heard of Tempest guitars? Looked them up. I could only find one other picture of one, and it was from one of these auction house sites, and it was in a picture of 3 guitars. And I think it might actually be the exact same guitar as the one I'm going to go and look at. I've been a wee bit I was a wee bit cagey about it as well. It's like my pal Gordon has sent me this thing yesterday, this guitar, and I was like, up here, yeah, I saw it, the Antoria, the white Antoria, 150 quid. It's an awful good buy for a Japanese Strat. And then I was looking at it last night, and I was like, hold on, that's not the same guitar. It kind of looks like it though. It's a white Japanese Strat. Well, it says made in Japan on the neck plate. We know that doesn't necessarily mean so. So he's only in Mr. Briggs, was only 10 minutes up the road. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to be the dick that takes a wee amp with me, and then I'll offer less money if it doesn't work. But it's one of those ones, I don't know. You'll know as soon as you pick it up. I mean, it's something like this, it's like, as well, if you cover up the brand and then play it, you know that this doesn't feel like a £150, £200 guitar. You can tell immediately. And the thing with the old 70s ones is, or 80s, or whenever it's from, it could be absolutely shite. Just because it says made in Japan on it, and maybe it is made in Japan, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good one. I've had ones before where it's like, it looks like a guitar, and it's like the body's kind of, what's it made of? It's a compressed board and all that, and the hardware's made of the same stuff as Matchbox toy cars are made of, and it's like, the wood, it's like, cheap and nasty as you can get, but it's because it's just a Strat. To a certain degree, it looks exactly the same as a really good Strat. From in a photo or from 10 yards away, it's like you can't really tell the difference. Yeah, but I mean, again, this one does look a little bit fancy. I think I'm sticking with the Protone thing. You look them up. They look like this, just with the fancier wood, and the more pickup options are probably better pickups. It's kind of what that Squire Protone range was like. It was like kind of like if we could make these in America for Fender, but they'd be $2,500 as opposed to £1,000. So, but we can make them in China or in Korea, where we can spec them up and it adds a couple of £100. It doesn't add £1,000 to the price, sort of thing. Anyhow, rock on, and I will see you tomorrow. Well, I don't know what day. This will be today. This is Friday night. Friday night's good for fighting. Saturday night's alright for fighting, but Friday's good for fighting. So, fight, rock on.